So I did say that after about 40 hours in the game that I will make some sort of a halfway through review. Now, I don't know how long the game is. I know that some people said that they were able to complete it in about 60-65 hours, maybe if they were rushing. You know that I don't rush, that I play slow, I talk a lot, but ultimately I enjoy the game a lot. And this is one of those games that I'll probably do not just the first impressions like I did and the final review after I finish the game, but a midway through review as well, just like I did for Kingdom Hearts, just like I did for Persona, and for my favorite Final Fantasies as well. I think the most obvious thing that, you know, the biggest elephant in the room, so to speak, for this game is the story. And I think it's a very shared experience that we were all kind of surprised to see how long it took us to get to the end of the intro, right? We were playing the game, I think, for about 8 or 9 or 10 hours when we got to the intro title, right? And I think that was a good indication of how long the game actually is. And considering that this, I think, is the main plot of the game, essentially going back in time, restoring some events, fixing things, unless I'm mistaken, and I could be mistaken because I haven't seen essentially everything that comes after this point in time. It takes a while to get to the plot, but it's one of those games that does it right. It's not like, let's say Final Fantasy XIV, like when they tell you if you start playing FF14, play for the first 50 or 60 hours and then it gets good. No, this game was good from the first hour. It just took a long time to know what the actual plot is, and I think anyone who might give up on learning what the plot is, they missed out. Because the story, I think, is just amazing. It is as dark as I expected the Digimon Story to be. As someone who did play Digimon Survive, I expected that it's not going to be super cheerful, and I'm not disappointed. People often think that something like, I don't know, Digimon is a very, I guess, childish story or something like that, but anyone who has seen Digimon, so if you know anything about the anime or the previous games, you know that these games go dark, very dark. And the story is dark at times, sad at times, but overall just really good. I think the pacing is the most important thing that was done right, apart from the quality of the story itself. Because as you can see, there are different stages of the game. Stage where you do a bunch of side quests, where you're essentially not forced, but really encouraged to do side quests. Then they give you a lot of, boss battles and cutscenes and story reveals. And then again, you have to basically do a lot of work with your party, optimization and everything. So these are kind of, stages that are mixed together. And I feel like just as I get tired, right? Tired of cutscenes, I get a time for me to work on my party. When I'm done grinding, or when I feel like I'm done grinding, there's a cutscene just around the corner, and after that cutscene, maybe there's a boss battle or something. So I feel like the pacing of the game is really nice. They don't make you do a ton of story and then give you 10 hours of just side quests so that, you're starved from the story until you finish them. So I think that the pacing is really good. Also, something that I really like about the game is the music. And I think that for those of you who have watched my stream, you could tell that the music, even when I'm on a Be Right Back screen, is always some sort of banger. Even if we're in a boss battle, even if we're in a zone, like each zone is so unique and the music is just so memorable. It's really something. It's on par with the other games that I love, that I think have incredible music, like Final Fantasy, like Persona, Kingdom Hearts. All these franchises, I think do a really good job with music, and I think that with this game, they really tried to put a lot of feelings into it. And I commented on a few occasions where the music just felt very Final Fantasy. The soundtrack overall is epic, and I don't know if they do the original soundtracks, but I think that if they don't, it's a missed opportunity. I don't unfortunately own any devices where I could play vinyl, but I know that a lot of people do, and this game soundtrack just sounds like it would sound really, really nice on vinyl. I also like that you are offered a choice. So in the game menus, just as a short demonstration, when you go into your system and then music settings, you can choose music for field, normal, boss battle, digivice, and so on, and you can play whichever one you want. What I think is really cool is that some of these are paid for, which I think is fine. But there's a lot of them that are reminiscent of previous games or anime, and I think that there's a lot of people who appreciate that and who will happily get themselves a track that of their favorite anime, and that's completely fine also. When it comes to combat, it's 10 out of 10. Like I always say, I really enjoy the games that wait for me. I'm not very good or very passionate about action games, but some of action games are my top 3 games of all time that I've played. But this one is just nice. It's both complicated enough and simple enough for me to fully enjoy it. So with all of the resistances, all of the stat buffs and debuffs and everything, I think it offers just the right amount of complicated. Obviously, some of the menus will be a little bit complicated, kind of like let's say the Digivolution menu or the conversion, and you have to experiment a little bit. You have to be sure that you study these tutorials if you're unfamiliar with what devolving is, and that you also have to do it. The enhancements menus are extensive. All these things that you can buy and attach to your party to make it better is just something to be looked into. But I think every game has that, and it's not overly complicated, even for someone who is new to Digimon in general. I found that auto attack is really convenient, especially for when I'm streaming, because if you have a party that's good enough, you can be on auto attack and not spend a bunch of time just attacking. I'm not sure if you do it. Maybe this is just that I do. I feel no shame whatsoever, especially when I'm out there in the field. I don't want to make all these separate decisions. The auto battles are fast. They level up the party very fast, and I think that's helping me not get bored of the combat that's supposed to be very basic in comparison to the boss battles. Boss battles are not basic. They are story rich and mechanic rich as well. So these are the two things that I appreciate. Sometimes boss battle is interrupted by a really good cutscene, and I think that's awesome. It's distracting a little bit, like when you have this big conversation between the two party members, but there's a boss in front of you waiting for you to hit him, and then you keep forgetting which abilities you have and whatever else. But it's not distracting to the point that it's uncomfortable. I think it just adds to the story, it adds to the immersion, and that's good. Some boss battles are hard, but not impossible. I think I had 2 boss battles where I had to, give up and then reload and put something else in the party. There are negatives that are connected to this, and I will talk about them as well. But first, I just wanted to bring up these very positive things. I think this game is really good if you enjoy collecting. So if you like if you like card games, if you like collecting cards, if you like collecting monsters in general, this is a game for you. I've realized, as I've been thinking a lot about the recent games that I've played, like Kingdom Hearts, let's say, Dream Drop Distance, Final Fantasy with all the summons, Digimon, Persona with all the personas, Shin Megami Tensei with all the deep. I realized that I lean heavily towards monster-taming games of any kind. One could argue that Final Fantasy is not it, but any Final Fantasy game with summons that I've played, how much I love summoning them and using those rather than just combat abilities, even though the cutscenes take a lot of time. It's exciting, it's nice, and if you like having as many of them as possible, it's cool. Digimon Digivolutions are really cool, and there's something really satisfying about uncovering a new tree and getting a new Digivolution, and it gives you that little bit of dopamine, and I think that's kind of the charm of you know, Digimon, even Pokemon and whatever else. I love that they're hidden, because if they weren't, unless you know everything about Digimon and you know immediately what it's gonna evolve into based on the little black picture, I think that it offers you the choice to just YOLO it, and you know, if you get something good, you get something good, and I've had some really good surprises. So overall, I'm happy with that as well. I think that Digimon games really, especially this one, I think they know how to make money, because I think that them evolving into some things that, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible, could be interesting to adults as well. I think that it's the right thing to do, because it helps, I guess, eliminate that gap in generations. Like, if you think Digimon is for kids, well, it's really not. There's something there for you as well, and I think that they definitely know how to make a lot of money from it. It's good for content as well. It's a fan service, but at the same time, if the games are just, we know that if the games are just purely, you know, innocent and very, you know, strict on how they're gonna display things, it doesn't sell that well, and you know, it borders what people like to call woke as well. I think Digimon is very far from that, and they just don't give a shit. They will just put anything in the game that they want, and I love that. There's a lot of diversity in the environment as well, and this is something that I mentioned in my review of the demo. Especially in that trailer that they showed, like, they showed a quick preview of some of the zones. Obviously, I didn't want to see all of them because I found it a little bit spoilery. But now that I've been through them, it's actually incredible how quickly I got attached to some of these zones, and side quests really do help with bonding to these characters, because these same characters later on, they show up in the main story. Like, for example, the Bearmons quest for them, they you know, suddenly are very big in the main story as well, and it's like, oh, I remember how this one really wanted to be strong, and you know, these details are just something that you remember, and I feel like it's tied to environment. Something that I've not done on stream is outer dungeons. I think that they're incredible, and especially for those of you who play MMORPGs, when someone says dungeon, you might imagine this whole, I don't know, trash packs, and then boss fight, and then trash packs, and then another boss fight, and then another trash pack, and another boss fight, and that's it. These dungeons are not like that. I don't want to offer too many spoilers. For example, if you're watching this video and if you're thinking about playing the game, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to make it as non-spoilery as possible and just not add too much footage and just kind of stay here. I think that you'll be surprised when you realize what it is that this game considers to be an outer dungeon, or a dungeon in general. Some of them are tower defense, some of them are races, kind of like chocobo racing, Final Fantasy, so I thought that this was really exciting. Some of them are time-limited things, and they all have unique challenges on how to complete the dungeon in a perfect way. So you can come back to the dungeon stronger and essentially unlock these secret messages that are spread throughout the other dungeon. I haven't unlocked all of them, but I'm recording everything that I do off stream, so I'll likely publish that as a separate video as well. But overall, I really love them. What I love as well is the voice acting. First of all, I love that everyone's talking. Like, all the Digimon, they have their voice lines, their attacks and everything, and it just keeps things engaging, and you can tell that they put a lot of money into this production. The voice acting, especially during boss fights, during conversations, it's emotional, it's believable, and they even with the localization, so voice acting, they did a great job. I don't know what it's like in other languages, like Japanese, for example. If anyone has any experience with it, feel free to share how you're enjoying the voices. The English voices so far are great. I unfortunately don't know much about voice actors' names and previous work. Maybe these are some of the voice actors that I've heard before, but I'm just bad at recognizing it. But overall, everyone has done a really, really good job. And this game overall has come at a really good time for me because I've been going through some really tough stuff lately, IRL, and this game has just been a really good escape from a lot of this stuff. So it's really helped me, and I love being here, and I love sharing, the game and the love for Digimon with you guys, and it's been really so far. Kind of sucks to also talk about some of the negative things, but I do have just a couple of things that I think could have been made not necessarily better, but I guess different. The one thing that is a bit annoying is how many times I've gone into the menu when I got notified that one of the Digimon is ready for evolution, but they weren't ready for evolution or new evolution. It was the one that I already had discovered. So I wish there was at least a color code, some sort of a system where you knew if some of the Digimon had a new tree discovered before you actually go into the menu. Because every time I go into the menu to check and to scroll through all of them, it feels disruptive. So that's the one thing that I wish was a little bit different. And my biggest complaint, and this says a lot about the game, if this is the biggest complaint, is the mount system. Now hear me out. I love the fact that a lot of them are rideable, but I also love to not be surprised by combat. Even when I have my selection of mounts in the main party that I can use, because then I have to give up on the fight and I have to go back and change the party. So what I wish they would have done is used mounts, like the rideable ones, as a different system. So I wish there was a different kind of menu where you have your main party, your reserve party, your guest party, and your mount. Even if it's just one. They use select, and it could be the same one that you have in the main party, but let it be unrelated to combat. Because I love my mounts, and I really want to experiment and use as many of them as possible. If we could have like up to 3 slots for just mounts, and the combat party is predetermined and ready to fight when you do get into the fight, I think that would make I think that would make the game better. So that's my biggest complaint, and obviously it's not a very big one. It's something that I believe would add an additional layer of coding and all this stuff that I don't understand. So overall, I can't really complain about it, but I just wanted to give you some thoughts. And I really hope that you enjoyed it, and do let me know in the comments as well if you have any thoughts of your own, how you're enjoying the game so far. And I really tried to keep this as non-spoiler as possible, so I hope that I succeeded in that, even if you haven't played the game yet. If you're tempted, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Leave a like on the video, and I will see you next time. Take care, and bye bye.